So hello guys, this is NelsonJM, and in this episode I want to show you the full procedure of registration for WAEC CASS 2026. Now this tutorial is coming because there have been a lot of changes in regard to the WAEC software, and there have been a lot of updates in regard to subjects and a lot of things. So this tutorial is coming at this very time to help those who are yet to start and those who have already proceeded from where the registration has gone far, you have uploaded or things like that. Now there are three things you need to note. One is the collection of your data. The second thing is the registration of your school. The third thing is registration of your candidate, and finally, after you have collected all your information, you are supposed to upload it to WAEC. That is the only point at which the student is ready for the biometric capture, which is the thumbprint and the image capture. Now a lot of people have issues, especially in terms of registering a school. I have done several tutorials, but it seems a lot of people are not able to find the right tutorial for their need, and they keep asking the same question over and over again. And I think I need to create a playlist where I'll put the tutorials by year, so that you can be able to just go to a specific year and follow up with just that tutorial. Now as soon as your CASS software is launched and you have registered yourself as a user, as you can see, this is my username. As soon as you have registered yourself as a user, the next thing you should do is to register a school. If this is a new system, you would be prompted directly to add a default school. Now for this one, I already have a default school, but I'm going to show you some of the issues you are going to encounter in terms of registration of your default school. Now every day centers are being reaccredited, centers are being re-registered, centers are being added to the WAEC system. So if your center has just been activated or accredited, what you need to do is to first update the software. But you cannot update this software if you don't have a default center. Assuming this center over here is not on this system, you cannot be able to add any new center to the list of centers that are on the database. So what you need to do is you go to your state, you select the country first, because this is the right procedure you need to follow. If you don't follow this procedure, you are not going to be able to get an update. When you try to update the center without following this procedure, you would be stuck on the checking for internet connection screen, and that is how it will keep looping. You will do that over and over, and that includes centers that have helped solve their issues today. Now you also need to note that new centers, especially in states that have a lot of WAEC centers, new centers are sometimes not tied to any local government. And that is because, let's say this is the WAEC center number. Usually the 4 stands for the country, and which means Nigeria. 35 stands for the state number. That is, if the Nigerian states are arranged alphabetically, the state number 35 is the state you are located. Then 11 stands for the local government, and then followed by the center number. If this rule does not apply to your state, it means you have an overflowing number of centers that goes into the hundreds and into the thousands, especially for Lagos, Kano, and some other states. You are going to have those type of issues. Now That means the school can, the rule of tying a center to a local government cannot be able to work in those locations. That is why the new way of looking for your center has been introduced on the WAEC for this year. How do you go about that? First of all, you select the local government, the state. Let's say Abuja, for example. I want to select a school in Kwali. Only schools in Kwali will be listed here. And since Kwali is the last local government in Abuja, which is the last local government in Abuja, that means we are not supposed to have any center with 402, maybe 1 something. But it might shock you to know that there are centers that are not tied to any local government in Abuja. So, for example, if I now reverse this, I will return to select, which means I want to look for a center in all of Abuja, not just in a specific local government. Look at, let's start again, Nigeria. Then let's go to Abuja. But this time I'm not following through the local government. I'll just go straight to the school names. Look at schools in thousands, and then we have a center that starts with 421, and that center is assumed to be in Abuja. Look at 427. That center is also in Abuja. So all these rules you are supposed to keep in mind. If you don't find your center, don't find it by local government. Find that center by the state. So all these centers will not be found if you decide to look for it in a particular local government in your state. And if you go to places like Lagos, you would find similar issues. Lagos have only this number of centers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, about 20. Now, it means I'm not supposed to have a local government called 21 local government. But it might shock you to know that in Lagos, you would have some centers that are in a very weird location. Usually when you scroll to the bottom, you would find them there. Look at the numbers. So you can also find your center by state, not by local government. If you are sure that the school has been accredited and you are sure that you have uploaded or you have updated, you can look for your school by centers. I've gotten an issue in Enugu. I've gotten an issue in some other states, and even today in Abuja with that same issue where they can't find their center when they look for it by local government. So this is how you would be able to register your school successfully. I'm going to break this tutorial in bits so that we'll be able to follow everything bit by bit. So I'm not going to register any center. We'll proceed to the next tutorial when I get back. Now assuming I now have my center, or I didn't find my center on the list. That is, after you have looked for it by local government, you can't find it. You look for it by state, you can't find it. It means the center has not yet been added to the database. So what you need to do is you just come to your state. You can select maybe your local government and just select any of these schools and enter a random information just to fill in this box. That way you'll be able to add a default school. That is the only way the next tutorial is going to be meaningful. So after you have done that, you have now added a default school. You can now come to administration and come down to update center details, required internet connection. Now if you come to required update center details, this one will now download the latest list of centers and subjects instructions from WAEC. That means any center that has been added before the moment you are updating these details, the center will now be added. No center that is added will be skipped, and it's going to take about 2 minutes for it to update if your network is okay. But if you don't add a default school and you decide to come to this place straightforward, you won't be able to proceed because it will just get stuck at internet connection. It will be stuck at that internet connection location. I don't have network for now, that's why I can't do any internet related tasks. So this is the procedure for registering your school on the WAEC 2026 CASS registration. So as you can see, now assuming my center is already registered. Now there are some schools that have already started on a different system. You just change system, but the moment you change the system, the database is initialized, everything, you have to start afresh, but you already have data that has been uploaded on the WAEC portal. That is after you have registered this school and saved it. There are data that are saved on the WAEC portal. What you need to do is to come down here, administration, click on restore data from online portal, select your school, select 2023, select 2024. This way you'll be able to download all the information that has already been uploaded on the other system, because CASS cannot replace candidates. Assuming you already uploaded candidate CASS 001 and you went to a new system and you are trying to register afresh without downloading the data from the internet, what you are going to have is another CASS 001, which means that second candidate is not going to be uploaded. No matter how you try, that candidate can never be uploaded to the WAEC CASS portal. So you need to first download the data that has been uploaded so that you can be able to add. And that includes if you have already uploaded and your CASS crashed. If you have already uploaded and maybe the system is not with you, you have to download the data first before adding, because you have to append to the list of what you already have. Then you proceed to restore school information, but I don't have internet, so it won't go. There's no connection. So these are the things you need to remember as a school administrator, as a cyber cafe owner, as a business owner, as somebody who handles WAEC CASS registration for schools. You should remember these instructions and make sure you work by it. Thank you.